Coach, preparing for this play-in game, how do you go about this differently than when you saw this Bulls team just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously it's a one game, and so your preparation, different than a playoff series in that you have multiple games. You need to make whatever adjustments you're going to make on the front end, and then during the course of the game. Matchups are a little different, personnel's a little different. So there's a number of things that play into it. But the reality is it's that important to the game. And I think one of the biggest things is just to have a really focused competitive mindset. And you say that, you know your team will, but also, within the framework of the discipline that it's required. It's not enough just to go out and play hard. You have to be smart too.
Obviously, knowing the injury circumstances that you've had for a while, but throw on top the no two-way players, so no V in this one. How do you deal with what could be looked at as those limitations to your roster?
Well, let me say first of all, we really appreciate everything Beat's done, and he's done a great job for us, and obviously everybody recognized that. And those are hard decisions that are complex in nature, and obviously there's a long-term component for all that. As far as not having him, we don't have JJ, we don't have Sadiq, we don't have O. So that's just something, as I've said, really it's no different than throughout the course of the year. The guys that you do have to be ready to go and have to play at a high level, and you can't lament those things. So we'll be ready.
You've now seen 3 games from Trey and this kind of ramp up to get him ready. Do you feel, just from the types of performances that you've seen and getting him conditioned, that he is ready to go for this one game type of playoff?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, as you said, was this conditioning, and when you haven't played in a while, getting comfortable again, little things but you fall back into what you know. And as far as some of the adjustments that individual players make or the team makes, I think those things kind of fall off. And I know he's ready to go and excited to play.
What have you seen from Mo Gay and for a rookie season that has been sort of chopped by injuries and things? How do you get him up to speed, given that he just hasn't had a lot of continuity?
Well, I think there's definitely a reality to that with some of the injuries. The time that he spent some time practicing in College Park, even though we were just being really smart about him getting back into competitive play in games. Didn't want him to do that before he was really, really ready. So there's a lot of, it's one of the advantages of having the connectivity between the Hawks and the Skyhawks. And then a lot of the principles and things on a base level, fundamentally, there's some things that he's prepared to do, understands the terminology, and then just having a chance to get in there, and last night, obviously, with Clint out, he played even more, and that he looked like you get the first game I played, he looked pretty nervous. That's to be expected, but he plays hard, and he's active, and he's excited to be out there. I think that's the main thing. Whatever happens in the game happens.
And just to add on to that a little bit, was he sort of called to play out of position a little bit, given that you didn't have Clint?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing. It's one of the things about Mo. His versatility is really, because of his length and then his skill. I think we see him as a basketball player. He's a multiple position guy. It worked out last night, obviously with Clint out, but then Bruno getting some early fouls, where his minutes went up, and it's good to see him get a chance to play. You never wish that on those circumstances, but to have him be able to get in there and get his feet even more wet is a good thing.
Some of your size limitations, and really having Dre as like the leftover guy who's kind of still out available for you, that's been your core in your forward spot. How do you message to him, like avoiding foul trouble, playing a lot of minutes on any do or die game? Like, how do you even sort of approach that going into a game like this?
Yeah, I think the minutes are less of a factor in a playoff situation where guys' minutes are extended. It's a shorter period of time, obviously. In this case, it's one game with the potential for another game. And then you have, the actual playoff situation becomes different. But the foul trouble is a big thing. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, and that's hard to do sometimes when you're such an important defender because people are attacking you. But he's got to do that, and we've got to help him. We can't just have him on an island saying good luck, Hunt. We got a team of 5 guys out there.
Is that exacerbated at all dealing with DeMar DeRozan, who's kind of their main guy? Is that maybe a usual?
He never goes to the foul line, right? Sure. I think really any team you play at this point of the year is going to have a matchup and a player that is a tough cover, and he's a unique one in so many ways. He's been a great player in this league for a long time. Just have a ton of respect for him. He puts a lot of pressure on you defensively because he can do a lot of things. And that's what I was saying too. It can't just be one guy. We have to have multiple guys ready to guard him. He's going to be in pick and roll situations as a ball handler. He's going to be as a screener. He's going to be on the post. He's going to be in isolation. Just a lot of different things you have to guard.
You've been through this now before, this kind of playing situation.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's been, after a couple of years, good for the league? I mean, obviously the alternative under the old system, this year, the season will be over for you guys. But just overall, how do you kind of feel that this has worked for the league?
Yeah, I think, I've felt this, since it came to be, and not just because we're in it, but I think it's unique. I think if you look at the people in the league, I think you get a similar response from most coaches, general managers, owners. I think I think it's been really good, and I don't think it's going anywhere. It's not my decision, but it looks to be something that it has an impact across a lot of ways, a lot of areas, I should say, and it's exciting.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.